welcome friends to our next talk with a senior German language teacher and torchbearer of cultural exchange programs, Dr. Mrs. Savita Kelkar. She was the head of the German language department and supervisor of Junior College of Ferguson College, Pune, and the first woman life member of the Deccan Education Society, Pune. She was awarded the Order of Merit of the Federal Republic of Germany in the presence of the Consul General of Germany, Jürgen Morhardt, and other trustees of the Deccan Education Society. This honor is bestowed for special achievements in life in certain sectors, namely politics, social work, or anthropology. She has been given this award because she has gone beyond teaching. She has set up things like exchange programs between Germany and Ferguson College, Pune. Let's talk to her and understand her journey. Welcome, Savita.
Thank you, Lalita.
I would like to start by asking you, Savita, you have a stupendous career and wonderful achievements. Please tell us, how did you start all that?
Thank you, Lalita, for inviting me for this wonderful talk. Your first question is very interesting. I have to go back many years. I was in school and my uncle, who was engineer, visited Germany and Japan for his business purpose. And he brought kimono and geita, Japanese dress and footwear from Japan. We were very curious to wear it and see how it looked on us. My uncle had a factory, therefore he wanted to buy the latest machinery from Germany. After his return, he said Germans are very punctual and hardworking. After my 10th, I came to Pune for further education. Basically, I am from a very small town called Khanapur near Belgaum. I was in SP hostel and I had opted for science. I did physics, chemistry, maths, and biology, and along with that, I studied German. He said, if I like German, I can get a lot of opportunities, and I opted for German. I really liked the language, and after 12th, I realized that in 11th and 12th, I was not able to take part in different activities. I was interested in Purushottam, Firodia, and play table tennis, to go for swimming. Basically, I'm a person who loves doing many things like singing, playing instruments, playing different games, cycling, etc. So science stream was not at all suitable for me. I decided to change my stream and I selected English, optional English, philosophy, psychology, logic, and German, of course. Vidya Lime was my first German teacher in 11th.
Okay.
Then Gayatri Vadke, Manjiri Paranspe, and Professor Dilip Rajguru. You know all of them and you know how good they are. I wanted to specialize in psychology, but Rajguru sir said, I'm good in German and I will be able to visit that country as well. And as a 15 years old girl coming from a very small town, I said, oh wow, I'll be going to Germany. So I opted for Germany.
Oh.
It really, when I think of it, I say, oh, how naive we are, but it really helps sometimes, if you believe in your teachers. And all the teachers made the subject so interesting.
Yes.
When we were specializing in German, simultaneously, I also started visiting Max Miller Bhavan. Because our sir said, if you're interested, then you should study the literature, also communication. And that time, Max Miller's courses costed just 600 rupees. And Rajguru sir recommended me. So I got 50% concession. Imagine one course costing just 300 rupees way back in 1981. And in the vacation, when I came to the hostel, my uncle had taken me to show the Max Miller Bhavan and the library. And I was really impressed by Max Miller Bhavan. And as I was in SP hostel and college, even SP college has a long legacy of German language teaching for many years, So again, it added to that because there were so many teachers who were really good teachers even at SP college.
Great. That's a wonderful start of the journey. Thanks to your teachers. Savita, languages, including foreign ones, have been a strong point of Ferguson College, Pune. Yes. So what do you think is the reason that the college developed such strength in this area?
Oh, being a life member and Prabandhak of Deccan Education Society and German teacher of Ferguson, very proudly, I would like to take you to the year 1914. For the first time in India, in 1914, the teaching of German started. And that too started in Pune. Professor Panduranga Gune did the doctorate research in Sanskrit and comparative linguistics at the University of Leipzig. And he returned in 1913. And in 1914, he started, he was teaching at Tilak Road, New English School Tilak Road. And with Sanskrit, he also teaching German.
Okay.
And that was 8 standard students, And then afterwards, Krishnaji Keshav Joshi returned from Germany in 1915. And then he took over the teaching of German from Pune and also began the regular BA course at Ferguson College, The first BA examination for German, it was under Bombay University. It was held in 1980. And Mr. Dattatreya Dawal Bhakta was the first candidate from Pune to score the best marks.
Oh, okay.
German classes at colleges in Bombay did not take place regularly and dropped out completely after 2 years. They didn't get good teachers. And DES, we are very grateful to Sir Raghunath Paranspe for supporting the German classes, in Pune. And in 1924, Ferguson College started a master's course in German as well.
Oh, okay.
And then, that was the only college with post-graduation. And Mr. Ganesh Kokil was the first MA graduate, with German. And Professor D.D. Karve was instrumental in starting German courses for science students as well. Because just now we teach to science as well as arts stream, and even commerce stream. So the credit goes to D.D. Karve. And that time, 75% of science students opted for German as second language. So we have this legacy and history, and so many of them then afterwards went to Germany to do, engineering or study further. The reason is because they also had opted for German, in school. And what happened in 1947? That after the independence, German language, it was considered as second, it became third or fourth, So in many institutes, they had to close down, but luckily at Ferguson, it continued and it's still continuing today. Even today, in fact, now you can specialize in German at Ferguson and the best crowd comes to us. But unfortunately, we also had MA, which afterwards went to university and now it is in SPPU. But actually, it was started in Ferguson College.
Okay. Wonderful. You have taught German at Ferguson College for the past 33 years, right?
Now it's 35 actually, because what happened, though I retired, I am teaching as honorary teacher. So now I've completed 35.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. So this college has a large number of students in one class.
Yes.
So can you tell us about the methods and techniques while teaching a large group of students which you have used, like a gross group and didactic, we would call it, right?
Yes, yes. Actually, gross group and didactic is a subject which is very dear to my heart. I started teaching at Ferguson, and in my first year, I had 12 students in arts and 58 in science. So I was just wondering, but it helped me also to develop something because it was the first year, and how you teach in the first year. But next year, the number increased, and after 2 years, I had more than 120 students in each class. And then it was very challenging as a teacher for me. So I developed few new techniques. There were students who had learned German in school. At the same time, many beginners, students from vernacular medium and also from English medium, from villages and from big cities, and also few visually impaired in that. There was a lot of heterogeneity in my class. And in the year 2017, in the International Tagung, IDT, I was invited to Bosen and I got a scholarship to speak about this gross group and didactic. I developed a buddy program. Each student who has learned German in school had 4 to 5 students in his group. When I used to correct the notebooks, the students also, came along with me and they corrected the notebooks. These non-beginners never created any trouble in the classes because I kept them very busy with me, And I always used to praise them that, look, they are doing such a wonderful job and all, So what I do is during my first classes, I show my, hand. First, I take feedback and I tell them, look, you are like this, each one is different. And if I cater to here, these needs, then this feels neglected. So it is like that. So few find it very interesting, few find it boring. Few say, oh, ma'am, don't use so much English. Few say, ma'am, you're talking in Marathi, we don't understand Marathi. So it is very, very challenging. But I tell them that, look, each and every student has, he or she can learn German. It's their right. And because you all have come together in a class, let's make the most of it. And they understand the situation, try to help each other. And what we do is we also play games, do projects, this article gymnastics and all such things we do in the big classes. Sometimes the classes are very noisy and others, other teachers complain, but they learn something. And, I have also developed a prepositional song, because what happens, this learning preposition becomes very difficult. So I'll just sing that song for you.
Yes, please.
Durchgehen entlang, für ohne Biss, immer mit Akkusativ, always with Akkusativ, immer mit Akkusativ, Akkusativ. Ausfahren, nach Super, gegenüber, seid mit, immer mit Dativ, immer mit Dativ. Immer mit Dativ, Dativ, in an Auf, über, unter, zwischen, vor, neben, hinter, Action, Accusative, Position, Dativ, Action, Accusative, Position, Dativ. This song, it just takes one lecture of 45 minutes and all my students learn prepositions and, they ultimately have to mug it up. Understanding is a different thing, but they have to know it by heartbeat pack. So such things, help. And because I like to sing and dance and, they feel you are one of them and they enjoy. I mean, I make them stand, I make them, come forward and do together reading they do, they do presentations. So it's a language class. And though it's a big class, everybody wants to participate and I enjoy that. And what happens now after 35 years, my students come. And now they are parents, they come with their children and they say, oh, I taught at her and you're also teaching, you're lucky. And such a wonderful feeling to teach to two generations. It's really very rewarding.
You also taught visually impaired students, like you mentioned just now. So what were the challenges you faced?
Actually, Amit Durve was my first student, and he came in my 11th class and said, ma'am, I want to learn German. And I didn't know how to react. I said, let's explore. I don't have, because I did normal BA, I didn't have that experience. So I told Amit, let's try it out. And he was such a wonderful student, very hardworking and intelligent. And whatever I taught in the class, he could grasp it very fast, And others also helped him to understand. And he, had his own NGO. I mean, he was such a small child, but still at that time, he had started his NGO and he was also helping others, those who had such difficulties. And he also started learning German at Max Muller. And Max Muller gave him a scholarship to go to Germany. And along with him, I had another student, Nikhil Dikshit. He was also very intelligent. Both of them went to Germany together and learned a lot from each other. That's what Nikhil told me. He said, ma'am, I didn't go and help him only. Amit also helped me. So it was a wonderful feeling. After he came back, unfortunately, he had some heart element, and he passed away. But in 12th, he stood first in the board, and which really encouraged other blind students, visually impaired students, to learn German because he stood first. He was in the newspaper, he was felicitated, and we also were feeling excellent because, the first who stood first was from Ferguson. It also encouraged us, to sort of teach, because earlier they used to opt only for Marathi or Hindi, So now they started taking other languages as well. And because of Amit, it just continued. They said, oh, German is very easy, let me do. So many students started learning German. And he passed away in 2003. That was really a blow for us But his sister and his nephew and brother, they are still in touch with me. His nephew came with me to Germany, and now he's studying in Germany. So what I could not do to Amit, at least, I'm trying to pass it on to the next generations. And I remember a student called Mamata Chandiramani, and now she's the State Bank of India officer, and she has a daughter called Pari. And whatever, this Pari does dances and sings, and she keeps on sending me her videos. And then, on the Rakhi Purnima, she sends Rakhi to my son. So, this relation is not only student-teacher, but it's more sort of family relationships. And there are many, many students, who are visually impaired, but they are doing extremely well because German helps them, this adds them in their career. I remember, there was a song and dance competition at Modern College, and whoever wanted to take part, I said, oh, come on, take part. And I had, it was a group of 8, and out of 8, 3 were visually impaired and 5 normal students. And of course, they danced and sang, but the steps were not actually synchronized. I mean, you can understand. But Mrs. Jennifer Singh, who was a German, and she was a jury, she called us and gave us a special prize. And she said, Savita, you understand the meaning of inclusive education. It should be like that. And, all my students got big sacks and T-shirts and certificates, and they all were thrilled. And actually, it was also in the newspapers. So sort of what happened, there were 3 prizes, first, second, and third. But the whole limelight was stolen by my students. And they were very happy because their photo came in the newspaper, and they said, look, they also can dance and sing. And also it really encouraged. So whatever, my idea of encouraging them, really, I felt very nice, because I feel it's not only the process. I mean, it's not only the result, but the process, Include everyone, whoever can. Maybe you will not the best, but as a group, they can progress well. That's what I feel. And I mean, there is also one success story. I had a student called Urvi Jangam, and now she did her doctorate in Germany. She had been to Germany and has started her own NGO. Then I also have 2 friends, Meera Badave and her daughter Uma. They have their own NGO, and they're doing so much for all these visually impaired students. I also have a friend called Sakina Bedi. She herself is visually impaired, but she also has an NGO, and she does so many things, for them. And I remember many visually students like Avinash, Sheetal, Bhagyashri, Sunny, Helena, Elena, Ganesh. So all these students are still in touch with me, and whenever possible, they come and meet me. So another thing I remember is I also included one visually impaired student in my German exchange program. It was very challenging, but luckily both the groups, agreed, and there also was a family who said, yes, she can come and stay with us. So I could take her, and she said, ma'am, I can see everything. She used to say, ma'am, this is like this, this is like that. And I told other students, I said, yeah, close your eyes and imagine how it is. And it, it really, as a human being, it helps you to grow more.
Savita, you have put all your heart into teaching. I mean, it did not remain teaching as such, but it was a human connection. And it won you many Best Teacher awards many times. So how does it feel?
Oh, it really feels wonderful, because you're trying something, but when you get this recognition or award, you feel you're on the right track. Like, in 2003, I remember it was Sundara Devi Rathi High School, and I got their Best Teacher because I encouraged those students, to go on bicycle. And there was a poor student who did not have a bicycle. I gifted him a bicycle. So that school sort of called me and gave me Best Teachers. Then in 2004, there was one Bal Vikas Shikshan Kendra, and there was Mr. Amar Kaur. And he called me and he said, oh, you also teach to slum students. So he gave me Best Teachers. I said, look, whether they are from slums or from, each student should, feel like learning. Whether they are rich or poor, for me, it doesn't matter. But for them, because because they started learning German, they started getting better opportunities. So he wanted me to encourage go and say, ma'am, keep on doing good work and all. Then there was felicitation by Mr. Flucht, the then Max Miller director, because of this PASH, PASH activities we do and encourage our students to do many activities. There was also felicitation by and appreciation by Shri Vinodji Taude. He was the opposite party leader that time. Also, as honorary director of Ferguson Center for Language, because we teach English communication at a very reasonable cost. Then 2009, that was wonderful because that was my own school from Khanapur, Tararani High School, which invited me and felicitated me. Then 2015, the then Max Miller director, Tal Peshache, encouraged me and gave me best teacher because I actively participated in an exhibition called Being Woman, organized at Sambhaji Park. And that time what happened, there was a tricky situation and many came and said they were showing this bust, and they were saying, no, it's vulgar and all. So I said, no, that's not correct and all. So sort of I worked as mediator and I could solve that problem, So he sort of felicitated me. When I was chairperson of Hindustan Antibiotic School, because I'm on this DES committees, then we received the Best Schools Award at the hands of Ajit Dada Pawar. So that is also a wonderful feeling that when you are a chairperson of a school and that school, gets this award. Then as secretary schools at Raman Bagh High School, we did a Guinness Book of World Record. At the same time, we made 2,160 Ganesha Murtis, and all of them at the same time. So that time again, we were felicitated because that was a record. And then actually the best teacher state level award also I got it in 2013 at the hands of Prithviraj Savan. And then I also got by Uttar Bharatiya Sangha, then Akanksha Social Welfare, then Rotary Club and all the German schools whenever I go. So, the list is very, very long. And I also, get invitations to go and speak, as a motivational speaker or a judge for different competitions or a chief guest. So it's very rewarding, you are teaching German, but simultaneously you can do many, many things. So at home front as well as outside, you can succeed, I think, if, you give 100% at that time in that moment.
So true. And you have done it and shown it to the world.
And actually getting this order of merit was, I think, the icing on the cake, because I never thought, because, this order of merit, I hardly had heard about it. And when I told all my German friends, they said, you're the first person whom we know getting order of merit. So all my German friends felt, they were really thrilled because like you say, this Padma Shri or Padma Bhushan, we hardly know anyone who has got that. Similarly, it's here also.
Can you elaborate about this Order of Merit award that you got?
Yes, sure. Actually, what happened 2 years ago, I got a phone call from a school where, I have exchange programs. And they said that we have provided information about you, this. So, and then I also had a query from the consulate that, okay, what all you have been doing, give us a presentation or something. And then what I heard afterwards that they went and checked each and every school or college, which I visited in Germany and also here. But luckily what happens, every year when I visit Germany, then after we come back, we all write, there is pre-test, post-test, then all the students, and we have a booklet. We publish the booklet. And I also put it on my website. So all this information is, Germans they want authenticity. They are very systematic. So all these things were there. And they said, 34 groups to Germany and 8 groups to, again, Denmark and Japan and all those. It was, I think, the record. And they said for that. And also because of this visually, impaired students. What happened is in the lockdown, there were few Germans who were stuck in Goa. And they called me, one person called me and she was crying and she said, Savita, you have to help me in this situation. So I called the consulate and said, look, if you cannot take them to Germany, you can send them to Pune and I'll look after, because one person had accident and he couldn't move. And then with the help of my friend in Goa, we made a list and we sent it to the consulate, and they could send few flights, and they all went away. So I was told that, okay, this is something beyond, like you're not only working for, Indian students going to Germany, but whoever needs help. Again, I took a group to Germany. They all were girl students and coming from really lower classes. So I requested the Consul General that please give us gratis visa, and then don't ask for 3 years return, and because they had taken loan on PF. But actually, all this was appreciated. They didn't think as trouble, but they encouraged me to do all these things more. So I think that, you also need to get partners. And, if you look at my management, our principal, like Pardeshi sir, Vak sir, Chitra sir, they all really helped me to grow as a person, and they trusted me. So that's how it all happened, actually.
That is wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Savita, you have presented papers at international conferences in Germany and I think in Switzerland also.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about it?
Actually, what happened, first I visited Germany, that was through scholarship. And then afterwards, what I did was I presented a paper in 2009 in EDT, and then again 2013, I presented a paper in Bozen, that was Italy. And again, it was about visions and ideas for teaching to large groups. So this grows group didactic I was invited for. And I and Archana Gopte also presented a paper on 100 Jahre Deutsch. It was such a wonderful thing. And Talgeri sir was present, and in front of him, presenting this, that was wonderful. Then in 2017, I presented a paper in Fribourg, Switzerland, imparting regional knowledge and its connections with intercultural exchange. So usually, it is something to do with exchange, because if you look at it, I'm the only person with, so much experience. Then in 2011, there was an international conference organized by Bhasha. And I presented a paper on why Cologne is called Cologne. And it was so interesting because, each city gets named and how that city gets that name. Then 2 years ago, I presented a paper to CCE Finland, and there was to study the impact of 6 tasks program. It was action research. 2015, I was specially invited to give a presentation on inclusive education in an international conference organized by SPPU and Telemark University College, Norway. Then in EVCO 24, that is an online conference every year, which goes 24 hours, for all the continents. I presented papers in 2020 and also 21, and I have submitted my abstract this year. And my abstract has been accepted also for Vienna's conference for August, and I also have got financial aid, and another one for Hanoi, Vietnam in October. And I was invited to give a talk on building bridges in the world by All India Radio. And there were also radio interviews in Germany in 2004 and 5. And in 2005, we were invited and interviewed on TV in Norway, Nordrhein-Westfalen, Guten Morgen. And that interview became very famous because we could reach out to all the, families in Germany.
Before we proceed with the next question, Savita, you have mentioned a few short forms, So for those who are not aware of them, I would like you to explain them to our friends. For example, IDT or IDT, then SPPU and PASH. So if you can explain this.
IDT is Internationale Deutsche Tagung. So this is international German seminars, which take place after every 4 years. And it takes place in different countries, like it is in Vienna or Switzerland or Bozen, that is part of Italy, but where German is spoken. Then SPPU is Savitribai Phule Pune University, because earlier we used to call it Pune University, now we call it SPPU. And PASH is Partner School Program. So it is, especially for Indian schools who are learning German. It started in 2008. And, our students get special concessions to give examinations, like A1, A2, such examinations. There are different workshops and seminars to encourage them to learn German, So these PASH activities really help our students to learn German.
Okay, great. Thank you. Savita, you are heading the West Zone of INDAF. So please tell us about it. Like, what is INDAF and what is your scope of activities and responsibilities?
Okay. Now, INDAF is Indo-German Teachers Association. It's a non-profit registered association of German teachers. It is founded again in 2008. We have our president, she's Punit Kaur, then vice president is Mr. Shekhar, then secretary, we have Papiya Datta, and treasurer Parul Sharma. This is the central committee. And then we have 4 zones, east, west, north, south, and I'm the west zone coordinator. And there are 6, 7 states for each person, like I look after few states, each person looks after few states, and there's again a central committee. So this is a wonderful platform for German teachers from the whole India. We can interact with each other. We organize international workshops, conferences, many times with association with Goethe institutes, or even many times with Ferguson, wherever local partners you have. It can be online, offline. Then we give information about the upcoming events. We have laser Abender. So we have groups where we, either we present a poem or, such things we do. And INDAF is a platform for each and every member to grow as a German teacher and also to grow as a person. That is very important for me. Because of INDAF, I got a lot of opportunities. I was interviewed on Deutsche Welle as a representative of INDAF. Then I also got a chance to go to Colombo, a few years ago. It was, there was an international conference. See, like we have this Indian German teachers, similarly, each and every country has their German Teachers Association. And all the teachers, all representatives came there, and I could tell them what activities we are doing at INDAF, Indian German Teachers Association, and others also shared their ideas. So I could get a lot of ideas, and I could connect to many people, and I'm in touch with many those teachers, So again, it helped me to grow as a person. And again, because of exchange program, now I have personal exchanges with many people in different countries. That was added advantage I got. So basically what I do is I collect membership fees. That is just 800 rupees, It's just a small token sort of. Then we organize different workshops and seminars for each zone. And I have been organizing such things. And, we also, we have our WhatsApp group. So all this information is given on that WhatsApp group. Whoever wants to present or, you can enroll there. Then if someone has birthday, that person's name and my herzlichen Glückwunsch and all. So that day that person feels very nice. The special photos are posted on it. Then, someone wants a job, then he or she can write, okay, I'm looking for a job. Or suppose schools or colleges want teachers, then again, so, it's a platform where you get all the information you can collect and pass it on to each other. Basically, during pandemic, we increase our scope, and if someone needed any help anywhere in India, that is say plasma or ventilator, tiffin service and all, we could post to different groups, and then the local people over there try to help, It was really wonderful because of the lockdown, it was difficult, but because of our networking, we could reach out to many. And because the going was so rough and tough, but we could help each other, we could solace each other. It was really, it was beyond German and beyond everything. So during these testing times, in fact, we became more close as INDAF family, I think.
That is so nice.
And actually what happened, this Vienna conference we are going, and also to this Honolulu. So last so many years, I've been telling that, okay, if you want to give any presentation, something or abstract, let's come together. We have a small group. and we come together, we discuss ideas, because if you're doing any abstract for the first time, you have a lot of inhibitions. So to cross those inhibitions, we come as a group and tell them, okay, this idea is really wonderful, go ahead, do that, and there are so many who are taking part. For IDET Vienna, they've got even this funding. So it's really wonderful, to grow in a group instead of just growing one like this. It's the group which, progresses, which I like about INDA.
Great. So we have to grow together. Yes.
Pardon?
We have to grow together.
Yes, we have to grow together. That's what you're doing, I think.
Thank you. Savita, you are a guide to students who are pursuing B.Ed. Can you tell us about it?
Actually, I have done MA German, then I have done MA twice, then I have done PhD, and many times refreshers course in Germany and India. So when I remember I did B.Ed, then I did with English and mathematics. German method was not available. And since 5 years, now the B.Ed is for 2 years. And first year, they can take any 2 subjects as methods. And third year, they can take even a foreign language, any language, and in that even French and German. And so it helps them, because they opt German. And after they get a job, then they can teach 3 subjects. That is, suppose you take history, geography, and German, or science, math, and German. Then they get a permanent job because of, you have B.Ed. And then because, how to teach German as foreign language, I can train them. Then I do paper correction, I do paper setting, I give lectures, and there are students from all B.Ed colleges. Like Modern College has students, then Adarsh College has, Tilak College of Education. So I've told them, whoever has, they all come together, and I give them lectures online, offline. I encourage them because I really want them to take German as method, and it really helps them to do B.Ed with German.
With German. Okay, great. Savita, you explored new avenues in the field of education by visiting various countries like UAE, Dubai, I think, Japan, and Germany. And you're the chief organizer of the Students' Cultural Exchange Program and Study Tours. How is that experience?
Oh, that experience is wonderful. Because you have so many extended families in all the countries. They may look different, their language, culture, everything is different, but their interest in getting to know a new culture is genuine, and I think that appeals to you. I started my first exchange in 1997, and that time I had written at least 50-60 letters, because that time we didn't have internet. And whoever used to go to Germany, I used to, write a letter and say, please take this and go in that school. And whichever school you go, and say, please, we want to start an exchange. And others used to laugh at me. Or do you think they used to say, oh, who is going to start exchange with you? Why they should start exchange with the Indian sort of college or school? And I said, no, I'm going to continue. And at last I got a yeah. And then after this positive reply, that was Albert Einstein Gymnasium, cast, and we started this exchange program. And after that, I didn't look back. After this, I had many more partner schools. And then because all the students could not take part in an exchange, I also started with a study tour in addition to exchange. It's a mini exchange. What we do there is they stay with families, but not for 2 or 3 weeks. They stay for 2-3 days. But along with that, they can also visit other countries, like we go to France or we go to Yugoslavia, other countries also. But the preparation part is same, like 4 varieties FASA. The preparation is sort of throughout the year, because they have to know our language, their language, our culture. They have to know a lot about India. They have to be proud as Indians. They should feel proud. No use going and saying that, oh, yours is everything good and ours is bad, which is not done, because they're going as ambassadors. And, if they like something, they should be able to express themselves and say, yeah, or the 9. Sometimes our students say, okay, we'll do. These Germans get confused. If you say, okay, we'll do, that won't help. Either you say, yes, I want to, or no, I don't want to, So all this cross-culture training, we have to give them. And so that's how we started doing that. Then again, I got a phone call for Denmark, and they said, oh, you have been doing exchanges with Germany. So also please help us. And so as coordinator, I started with Denmark. Again, Japan I started with, and it's just growing. And I think I also take now students to Meghalaya and Assam. Those students come to Ferguson. So it's not only international, but even national level. And because I think I come from Karnataka, my father studied in Gujarat. My brother is border of Andhra and Maharashtra. So I think maybe, this sanskar, what we say a child, that background helped me to know that, okay, we are different, but nobody told me this is right and this is wrong, but it's different. So I think I could do so much because of that.
Wonderful. Because taking students outside India or bringing them in India is a huge task because of the cultural differences. And that I think you are doing wonderfully for many years.
What happens, now, because so many generations, what happens, the previous group goes and they go back and sort of start training others. They tell them, okay, this is like this is like that. And we always invite the past students and tell them to narrate what was their experience. And every time we start with scratch, like, I will start with a pre-test, then collect the information. Suppose a student has phobia or, all those backgrounds, psychological problem, anything, everything, like someone feels very scared to stay alone in a room because in India, they're not used to. So such small things you have to, cater to those needs. Only then exchange becomes successful. But I'm very proud to say that up till now, we didn't have to change any partners or sort of, halfway somebody you want to send us. Nothing like that happened because from both the sides, we really put a lot of efforts in this training part, and that's why I can conduct 1 or 2 programs per year. And that's how I can do it, because I want quality. And then only it is possible to do. If you start doing many, then it won't be possible, because then you won't be able to train them properly. And I think that is very important, that don't compromise on quality, but do it maybe small way, but very nice way. That's what
you're right. So you were a director for the Ferguson Center for Languages in Ferguson College, or as they call it, DSIAS. So German Center and Language and Development. So can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, actually what happened, I started teaching in Ferguson in 1987. And in 2003, I was invited to become the first lady life member of DES. It is only by invitation. You cannot apply. There is a committee and they sell you to, sort of, and they invite you and you become a life member. Once you become a life member, you have to shoulder a lot of responsibilities. Like you become a chairman of a school and then, secretary. And now we have physiotherapy college, nursing college, law college, Jagannath Rathi vocational, IMDR. Then I have schools in Alibag and then Sangli, Satara, Vai. So all those places as secretary, I have visited all those places, then we do internal inspection, so teaching German is a small part, but there are many other responsibilities to shoulder, and that is all honorary. All of them who become life member or elected members, we don't charge anything for that because it's sort of social work. So this, we started Ferguson Center for Languages because, learning German or French or even English at a reasonable cost. For example, just now we give spoken English communication skill to all our Marathi medium schools, and per year each student pays 450 rupees. Imagine 450 rupees for the whole year, and you're getting communication lectures, 60 lectures in that. Just impossible. Yes. So through this Ferguson Center for Languages, we do this because the teachers who join us also feel that they are doing sort of social work and we will pay them just for transport or, such things. Then again, DSIS German Center, this IS is a college in Germany, and we have a collaboration because there are many students who want to go to Germany, maybe for studies, or they want to have jobs. So you need to have a partner over there. So we started this. And after I retired in 2020, they made a special post called Prabandhak. And now I'm the first Prabandhak also of Deccan Education Society. And we have started writing history of each and every institute. We have 60 institutions. So we are collecting information of past students. So there are many things I'm doing simultaneously. but it's very rewarding because, you can give back to society whatever society has given it to you. So on physiotherapy college, I'm on that committee. And then I did some course, to be on their committee, So it really helps you to learn something new because of that.
Great.
Like just now, I'm JCCC secretary. So the Junior College Coordination Committee secretary. So all the junior colleges of BS, for example, we have this Kirti College, Ramanba, BMCC, Ferguson, and then we have colleges in Sangli. So I look after all those, how many teachers are there, do we need teachers, then how are they doing, who is going to retire, when is they retire, 12 years, 24 years, are they getting, so many things are attached. Then again, all those Jagannath Rati vocational, we are starting with new courses, so I'm doing that. We also have Bhasha and Vikas committee. So again, in that, we are doing all those language development programs, So actually, there is something, daily something new. And of course, I'm teaching, I'm doing remedial teaching. I have a colleague who does regular teaching, but there are students who come, whose background is weak, or maybe they don't know English or something. So I take them out and then I'm giving them remedial teaching so they can be with the class. If they have any complexes, then sort of give them some help, boost, so that they will be equal to others. Because I come from a small town, and when I came to Pune, I had this Karnataki health. So I used to speak very differently, and people used to laugh at me. So first 6 months, I hardly opened my mouth, and I will never forget how it was for me. So I always sort of understand how they must be feeling, and I try to help them.
Savita, you have authored a book called Gaganala Pankhanave, and also its translation, Chulo Asma. It also has write-ups of your students. So am I right? Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, I wrote this book because I want people to know how it is exactly to organize an exchange or take part in an exchange. This was translated in Hindi, like you said, Gaganala Chulo Asma, but also we did it in Braille. Because my visually impaired students also wanted to read it, and they said, ma'am, if somebody reading and showing it, we won't enjoy. So again, we did it in Braille also. And this book was sort of a gift by my husband on my 50th birthday. He said, whatever, this thing, I'll gift you a book and then write down whatever your impressions. And also we put others so that whoever wants to do exchange, and I have put it on my website also. So, and when I did PhD, I have developed a model, how you can do exchange, how you can prepare them, how should be the pre-test, everything is given. Because, if you try to keep them a secret, then others will again, they won't be able to learn. So I feel everybody should go further. This is the steps which I have followed. Then they should go further and they should use whatever I have. That's why I wrote this book. And I also, every year when we have this exchange of study tour, then after we come back, we have a booklet. And again, we write what impressions we got or memories. And I also am part of the, this, in 11th and 12th, we have a book called Sprachlotsen, that is a textbook. So that I'm a co-author of that textbook also.
Okay. How is the experience of co-authoring a book?
Oh, that was very challenging, because what happens, there are teachers from different backgrounds. And then one person says, this is too easy. And we feel as teachers, it is not easy, because we always feel, there are 120 students. And suppose somebody is coming from Max Miller, then he or she will have only 20 students. And then he won't understand, because 5 hours he's continuously teaching only German. Or suppose you are in IT, then your ideas will be totally different. And if you are really intelligent, you'll say, this they should understand, but it doesn't happen. So all of us coming together and writing a book, and it was very challenging. And secondly, what happened, after we completed the book, immediately there was lockdown. So we couldn't sort of test it in normal situations. Earlier, what happened, as board of study member, or, we always had time, and we reduced the portion, we had meetings. But because of lockdown, all these things failed. And it was much more challenging than earlier, though I felt very nice that I could contribute something in that. but the situation became more challenging because of this COVID situation.
And you're working as a board of study member for Maharashtra State Board, Balbharati. Right.
Yeah. So actually, many years I worked as board of study member. I started, with examiner. Then I became moderator, then chief moderator, then this POS, then writing a textbook, then again going and visiting different schools and colleges and inspecting their teachers, So there's a lot of responsibility because by setting the paper, you have to be very careful. 20% will be for the best students, 20 will be for average. You have to stick to those rules, and then you have to have a group of examiners or paper setters. And it's always, there is a lot of secrecy because the groups, as a group member, when you're doing it, then you have to be very, very careful with all these things. But I think all of us do that. And that's why, so many students are passing every year, not only German, but for other subjects, there's so many, and it's still running smoothly. I mean, in Maharashtra, now the result will be out. And it's possible because of, the Sachiv or chairman, all of them, both people really work very hard. We are a small part of it. But if you ask me, the whole system is functioning very, very well.
That's good to know. You also translated poems and stories from German to Marathi, which were published in various magazines. So my question is, do you plan to take up any more translation projects?
Yes, in fact, during lockdown, I wrote a few poems in Marathi, when I wrote in German, and expressing in one language and translating in another is always very, very difficult because, the culture is different, the background is different. Few typical words you use in one language and translating them into another. But when I translated few stories or this in that time, it was also very challenging. But it gives you a lot of satisfaction when people read it and say, "Oh, I really liked it." You feel very nice. And I have also written few articles in different things, so that it sort of gives you more. I mean, others also get inspired. You also feel very nice because you can express so many things, So whole process of writing. Lalita, you know it better how it is. So it's such a wonderful thing. You feel, oh my God, I'm a human being and God has gifted me so much. And you can express, you can talk, you can write. And it's such a wonderful feeling. I had written an article on APJ Abdul Kalam. In 2004, we were in Delhi. And I had written a mail to APJ Abdul Kalam saying that, okay, I'm taking a group of 20 German students and will we be able to meet? And others were saying, do you think he'll be, he'll spare time for you? But he spared, he gave us 1 hour. We were in Rashtrapati Bhavan. And after I came back, I wrote an article in Sakar. And that time I had only landline. It was Saturday, 25th December. Whole day my landline continuously ringing. And everybody was asking me, how did you get a chance to meet APJ Abdul Kalam? And how nice he is and how lucky you are. So, just one article and it changed, and others said, oh, it is possible. Otherwise a normal teacher and going and meeting a president, imagine, but it happened. And because of, I wrote about that, many people told me afterwards that they also sort of felt like doing many things, where the situation was challenging. Because I said that person will say no. What else will happen? So if you are ready to take a no from other person, then I think you can always explore many, many things.
Yeah, that was my next question, that you have written many inspiring articles for various newspapers. I think this was one of them.
Yeah, and then what happened? I have my M80, and usually those are those who sell power, that is powder or something. All those go on this M80. Usually, normal people will go on Activa or better versions. So I met once, and then somebody I met, and he asked, "Oh, are you still working at Ferguson?" I said, "Yeah." So that person said, "Oh, I thought you lost your job and all." So I said, "Why we have this in our mind? I mean, see, look at animals. What they are not wearing anything. So if you have a beautiful dress or a big car, or why you should have this connection?" So I had written an article about my MAT, which was 30 years old, and my husband still has Bajaj scooter, which is 35 years old. And I had written about that, and I had also written about bicycle. I said, see, if possible, then go on bicycle. And then, that's how I wrote. Then I wrote about my hostel days, because it's, at the age of 15, when you go to a hostel, it's very difficult to stay without your parents. And, so I had written about those. And then during the pandemic, I also wrote about called Golden Gang. We have a group, of 6 families we meet every month. And there are 22 people, 3 generations. And then I had written about that, okay, you have your families, but also you need friends, who are always there for them. So I write about different things. Then this Swami Ramdas Swami has written this Manase Shlok, and it has been translated by Vinita Mahazani. And when we go to Germany, we sing those sloks in our language as well as in German, and they are appreciated a lot because it's very easy to understand this Manase Shlok. One can immediately relate to that.
Wow, this is really nice. You have been in this industry for so many years, Savita. What changes would you like to bring about in the teaching or language industry?
Actually, for teaching now, earlier we used to have only offline, that is the class and maybe with projector. But now, during this pandemic, I started using computer more, presentations I started preparing. And in fact, what I found out that those who wanted to learn, they learned in a better way, because through presentations, you can show them a lot. Then you have breakout rooms and, make them work together. It was really wonderful. I mean, using all these techniques really helped me to learn so many new things. Then we also had many games, through this. So what I feel, see, our problem is because we have so many students in one class. But now this new education policy is coming, and that time German will be used as skill. And then that will be really good, because maybe I'm doing commerce, then maybe first 2-3 years, the German language will be same. But afterwards, for commerce, it will be different, science, different, arts, different. For arts, it will be more sort of, literature. For science, it will be more technical. So I think all those things will be possible because of new education policy. Only thing is we have to change accordingly, and we should have more resources for that, because there'll be many more classes and many more infrastructure. So all those needs should be catered. Then I think it will be ideal, because Indian students are wonderful. They want to learn. I mean, after 35 years also today, if you ask me, would you like to go and teach? I happily go and teach in a class. And that is because of our students. They are cultured, they are mannered, and they are wonderful. So I'm really happy to be in India and to be a teacher.
That was a wonderful conversation with you, Savita.
Thank you so much. I always feel that it is, right time, right place, and the situation, the background. Like yesterday only, I have written an article about my mother-in-law, who sort of encouraged me, my cousin mother-in-law, my mother. So, you need family members also. When you are growing, you need a lot of support, your husband, your children. Everybody should, value whatever you're doing. Otherwise, it's not possible, So I'm always grateful to God that God showed me the path and others helped me to go on that path,
Sure. Thank you, Savita. And I wish you all the best for all your future plans.
Thank you so much, Lalita. It was really nice talking to you. I enjoyed talking. Thank you so much.